Steve Rodriquez. My goodness, what a weekend, winning 2 out of 3 against Kansas State and now Oklahoma State. Steve, let's start. First of all, thanks for your time. Let's start with tomorrow. That game with Incarnate Word has been postponed because of weather, impending weather. Your thoughts about, did you need that, or do you want to get just straight focused on Oklahoma State?
Well, it would have been nice to play another game. We played really well this past weekend, and it's always good to get as many looks as possible before you're going into another weekend. And rain's supposed to come in tonight, kind of pretty much last through Wednesday afternoon. And so, when you're dealing with the NCAA and countable hours and stuff like that, as coaches, you just try to respect other teams and kind of how they develop their days off and which days they can do. So we wanted to make sure that, if there was a chance we were going to play, we would definitely we would hold off on it if it was like kind of marginal weather. But just based off of what we're looking at and what our grounds people are kind of telling us, that it could get pretty ugly tomorrow.
Coach, what's been the key for you guys at home that you are so extra locked in this year when you're playing at Baylor Ballpark?
I'll tell you what, I think every team plays better at home. Obviously, you're comfortable with the surroundings. The sight line you're very comfortable with, which means, when you're hitting, you're comfortable with and you're used to the background that's going to be behind a pitcher. Same with defense and stuff like that. So you're just very comfortable and used to it. And we play on a natural surface, which makes it great for us. And, so when we go to play on turf, nothing really changes for us in regards to how things bounce and stuff like that. But I just think every team, my thing is you should win at least 75% of your games at home. And our guys have done a really good job of that this year.
Steve, how proud were you that your team bounced back from what was probably a pretty big disappointment on Saturday, the way that went down with K-State, to just maul them on Sunday?
Well, I'm not going to take anything away from K-State. Kansas State came in. I think they had the most home runs in the country, they were third in home runs in the country. And I'm not going to take anything away from them. They just came out and they just hit the ball really well in that ninth inning. And for us, we thought we had a pretty good chance. We were facing one of the top pitchers in the country in Wicks, and when you have opportunities to score, and we did. We had guys on base with 2 outs, and we just couldn't get them in. And so that was frustrating along those lines. But the way we came back and scored 2 runs in the first inning against another really good pitcher in Casey Ford, you're able to do that, and then you score another one, and you score another one, and then pretty soon the confidence starts to build, and our guys started feeling pretty good about themselves.
Yeah, it's not often you get 17 run innings, Steve, and you've been in baseball your whole life. But what can that do, not only for the confidence, but you need to relax a little bit during a season and have those kind of innings, don't you? To have those times where just everybody can kind of let loose and let's go.
17 runs in an inning was a new one for me. Have not seen that. I've seen some big innings that were a ton of runs in them, but nothing like that. But it was great to see. I think there was 2 of our guys in the lineup who had 3 at-bats that inning. And so it was just a unique experience. Even Pete Hughes, the Kansas State coach, we were talking. He goes, "I don't think I've ever seen anything like that." And I said, "Yeah, well, we gave up 11 runs one inning last year on opening day. And so I've seen something pretty close to it, but nothing like that."
All right, so where do you think you are when it comes to the tournament? I know your RPI is in the 30s. Where do you feel like you are right now? What else do you think you need to get done, or do you feel like you guys are locked into the tournament?
I think we're pretty close. I do. I think we're pretty close just in regards to if they want to go based off of RPI. I know they say they're not really using RPI, but I think it has to come into play a little bit. Just conference records and stuff like that. I think we've done well playing against really good teams, and we're playing well late, which is always good. I never like to hey, we're in, we're not, no big deal. The key is you want to continue to play well, and you want to continue to win, and remember what it's like to win and how hard it is to win and what it takes to win. So regardless of where we are right now, we need to continue doing that over the next couple of weeks.
Your team can really rake. You really can. You're hitting all year has been that way. What was the turn for you? Was it just getting the guys in there that can do that, the Jareds and Andy and all those that can really hit? Because they had a couple years where they just were not hitting the ball like they were before you got here. What was the turn of the key to get it to where you have a lot of guys over 300?
I'll tell you what, I think it's really about education. I needed to learn a lot. We have all sorts of technology that we utilize with our guys, and we will take them individually and take them in the cage and really break down their swing with a lot of the different technology and kind of go step by step with them and let them know, our job is to develop a very well-balanced, well-rounded swing. And then your job is to make sure you get a good pitch and you lay this good swing on it. Because regardless, if you don't swing at strikes and you swing at balls out of the zone, I don't care how good your swing is, it's going to be irrelevant. And so, just educating the kids on some of the things that we know, taking a lot of the technology, simplifying it down to where the small things that they can really focus on is what they focus on. There's a lot of information that comes out of this technology that can just boggle your mind, and we don't want to do that to them. We just want them to focus on the small things that we know will really help their swing develop and just become better.
I know that Texas had a nice weekend in Fort Worth, winning 2 out of 3. Zach Zubia was named the Offensive Player of the Week as far as Player of the Week in the conference. Andy Thomas, though, we got this today from Zach. He was named the Collegiate Baseball National Player of the Week. And what a weekend he had. And just how good, Steve, is he and what he means to your team?
No, and when you have a player like Andy Thomas who came back for his last year because he wanted, to go out like how he wanted, just like he's doing. He wanted to come out and kind of leave it all here so he doesn't have anything to regret in the future. Like, oh, I didn't do that, or I wanted to do this. And he's not doing that. He wants to catch every game. He is loving every minute of it. He's having the success on the field and off the field, and he's helping these younger pitchers, and he's leading this team just as we had hoped he would. In regards to, the awards and stuff like that, I can agree to disagree with, who votes for those things. But Andy Thomas just had a phenomenal weekend this weekend. And, when you have career weekends like that, it's pretty impressive.
So you are right now just ahead of Oklahoma State and Oklahoma in the Big 12 standings as far as the number 4 seed overall. And you're not far away from being 3 because of what's going on with Texas Tech. And you had a nice weekend against them anyway. How much does that play into what happens these next 2 weeks with Oklahoma State and Oklahoma? You have the 2 teams right behind you, and you even have a chance. Sometimes people worry about who can catch you, but you yourself have a chance to maybe finish up in 3rd.
I mean, the higher you can finish, obviously, the better for lots of different reasons. And for us, the big thing is just to make sure that we stay healthy. We continue to go out and play great baseball. And that's what I've been liking about what I see from our guys right now is there's not a lot of, everybody likes to look ahead, but, truthfully, we need to worry about Friday now, make sure our guys are healthy, make sure they're ready to go. We're going up to a brand new stadium up there in Oklahoma State, and, they're going to have a lot of fans there. So we just got to go out and we got to play well.
Steve, thank you very much, man. What a weekend, huh? So you've never had a 17-run inning. What the hell? I mean, that's apparently that's not that difficult.
Well, what's funny is I had a game against Tulane when I was at Pepperdine where we won 30-22. We had 40-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight out, and it was one of those games where I just never thought it was going to end, just because outs were at a premium. You just could not get them, and we ended up scoring 9 runs in the bottom of the 8th, and they scored 8 runs in the top of the 9th, and every out, if you got an out, you were celebrating because you just didn't know if you were going to be able to get one. Any ball hit had a chance to do just about anything.
Wow.
And so it was one of those crazy days. But the fact that we won that game, I think there were a lot of 8 and 9 run innings in that game, but not 17. No.
Yeah. No. Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you very much, Steve Rodriquez, Baylor baseball head coach, with us on Sikkim 365 Radio. They win 2 out of 3 against Kansas State. Texas won 2 out of 3 in Fort Worth, and they hammered the Frogs yesterday. And Schlossnagle was pretty obvious after the game. He was like, this is embarrassing. We have a chance to wrap up the conference at our home park, and we get shelled. Now, Texas is really good. Both of them are College World Series good, it appears. But so that happened over the weekend. Tech was off over the weekend, and now Oklahoma State, Baylor this weekend in Stillwater, starting, in fact, I guess that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
I wonder if the new ballpark in Stillwater plays like the old one did.
like home run
I mean, it
crazy?
was, yeah, home run crazy. I mean, and it was
I don't know.
kind of like Texas's park does at a certain time of the year. The wind changes, and then all of a
Texas
sudden,
Tech. You're talking about
at UT,
Dish Falk Field.
At Dish Falk, yeah, the wind changes and it does that. Same thing at Oklahoma State, where I mean, look, Pete Incaviglia hit a billion home runs that one year.
Traber, wasn't Traber?
Oh yeah, they're just
So Oklahoma State's RPI, and again, Steve mentioned that this doesn't mean everything, but it doesn't hurt. They're 20th overall. Texas has the 3rd, TCU 5th, Texas Tech 9th. And so that's and Baylor at 33 right now after winning 2 out of 3 against Kansas State. When we come back, Nicole Auerbach. I was on yesterday a couple of times talking to Max Olson. I said, hey, who is your go-to person for the name, image, likeness stuff? We've had Ross Dellinger on to talk about it. We've had others. And he said, Nicole Auerbach or Andy Staples. So I contacted Nicole. She's been on with us a couple of different times. She will join us in the next segment to discuss, is there movement with some of these states saying we're going to do this? And how does it affect Mark Emmert? And what is the next move? We'll have that with Nicole Auerbach from theathletic.com next on Sikkim 365 Radio. Man, I had twice over the weekend, I cooked a ribeye. One was a bone-in ribeye, and then last night was a regular. The bone-in ribeye, what I